we are hella friends, and welcome back to another episode where we just keep it real, raw and unfiltered. I am Kayla Coombe.
And I'm Brandy Wilson, your other host today. We're going to be talking about something that most people don't really want to have a discussion about, which is Ozempic and how it was originally a diabetic medication. And we also have with us a guest. We have Jazz Kirk back with us today.
Hello, guys. Excited to dive into this one.
It's an interesting topic, so grab your tea, get comfy, and let's talk about it.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to discuss is like the science behind Ozempic or semaglutide. And Kayla, you looked that up.
So semaglutide is a peptide, and I guess really let me start with saying I am not a doctor. I have no healthcare experience, but it is a peptide that has been on the market since 2017, Ozempic specifically. However, it does classify as a GLP-1, and those have been on the market for the last 20 years. So it's not brand new science. It's not anything like that. There's so many different peptides, peptide blends, different things that people use. And just like anything, right? If you are getting some crazy high dose, if you're, taking way more than you should, yes, your body's not going to handle it well. You're going to have a lot of side effects and you're going to have a lot of problems. However, typically, if you're using the peptide correctly with a healthcare professional who's helped guiding you through that and really knows your specific information, it can be really helpful for a lot of things, and that's what they're really looking into right now.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I have been on a semaglutide, now tirzepatide, which is also a GLP-1 medication, since 2023. So when people ask me, how did I lose so much weight? Because I've lost 95 pounds.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
Yeah. I tell them I'm on drugs. And they think I'm kidding.
She's serious.
No, seriously, I'm on drugs. But the misconception is you don't have to work with this.
Yeah, and that's something that they battle a lot, and a lot of all of your big headline grabbing articles and information that's coming out, even some of the studies, that's the entire situation that
it's not a magic pill.
Yeah, it's not a magic pill. This is not supposed to be something that you take. And sure, if you do this and then you don't work out, you don't change your lifestyle, you don't change your habits, then yeah, if you get off of it, it's going to come back. Your metabolic system's actually in worse condition at that point than it was to begin with.
Yep.
But the cool thing about peptides, and I didn't really know this until kind of researching for this episode itself, is that peptides are regenerative. Mm-hmm. So it actually, if you are taking a small enough dose, you're not overdosing and you're doing it the correct way, they have actually found that these GLP-1s can actually help regenerate your metabolic system and help you along that way. It gives you that leg up. So as long as you are working out and you are changing your lifestyle and the food that you're eating, because everything we eat is so convenient, so easy, and it's fried with 1,000 things in it, right?
Yeah.
So it's about making those habits with it.
So the really cool thing about being on this drug for the duration that I've been on it is it changes your brain chemistry a little bit, which most people don't talk about, but it really does.
Yeah.
It changes your brain chemistry. It changes how you think about food, how you feel about food, and even how you feel about alcohol. Yeah. So at least with me, I had a hormone imbalance because I had a hysterectomy. And so in that hormone imbalance, I had gained that much weight over the course of several years.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter how hard I worked out, what I ate, what I did, the weight just kept coming. And I was getting older, and so it was getting harder and harder for me to get it off.
And discouraged. After a while, it starts to be discouraging.
Because I looked at my body, and I didn't know who I was. And I look like that. And this is after 2 kids. It had nothing to do with, I was not eating right, I wasn't due. I just had a hormonal issue to where I could not get this weight off. And it started affecting my health. So my blood pressure skyrocketed because I was so heavy. I was starting to have like all kinds of other issues. I was having skin issues. There was all kinds of things going wrong.
Can I ask, how did you know you had a hormone? Because I felt like I was on birth control and then I got off and I was like, my body was like,
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah.
we don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that, and I've always been someone who was very fit, and like, it was at one point that I was like, am I pregnant? I would take pregnancy tests because I was like, your pants don't fit. Even today's pants fit. And I went a year of like exploring like what's going on. But this conversation with women of like, you get to a certain point that there are real hormone imbalances that are happening.
So I've had friends that go to like the hormone replacement clinics. I don't ever suggest you go to one of those. Go to an endocrinologist. Okay. That is their job, is to check hormones. And so I went to my gynecologist, and I had a hysterectomy at 34. Okay. So by the time I was 40, I had packed on like 60 pounds and I didn't know what to do. And he was like, oh, okay, well, we'll do hormone replacement therapy. We'll do these pellets. The bad part is about these pellets, there's not enough science behind them to know exactly how they work, because they're not real hormones.
Yeah.
And so I did the pellets and I gained an additional 20 pounds.
Oh my God. And it costed you.
It cost money.
I paid for those.
And so my husband says, this is not working. Go to the endocrinologist, have them check your hormones. Okay, so that's what I did. And when she did, it was like, you have no estrogen and no progesterone. You are completely depleted. Why? This is why your body is doing this. And so I had to get on estrogen and progesterone. And even doing that, because I had gained so much weight and I had gotten older, it was really hard to get it off. Like really, really hard. And then COVID hit. And of course, everybody gained about 20 pounds during COVID.
Yeah. It's like college all over again. Your freshman 20.
Then we got the COVID 20. And so I went to my primary and he said, have you tried Saxenda? Had no idea what Saxenda was. Saxenda is the predecessor to Wegovy, Ozempic, Trizepatide. It's the predecessor. It had been around for forever. And I got on it, and what they failed to tell you are about the side effects.
Okay.
And this was before the Ozempic craze. So this is like during the height of COVID. And so nobody really knew about Ozempic.
Yeah.
All I did was throw up. Literally all I did was throw up. And I was like, okay, I am not paying to be in a bulimic.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how I want to lose the weight.
Yeah. I am not paying to be a bulimic.
Was it daily?
It was once a week.
Okay.
Just like Ozempic is. But it was so strong that all I did was throw up.
Yeah, which can happen with Ozempic too if you're taking way too high of a dose or you're just moving up too quickly.
Yes. And so my husband said, stop doing that.
It's not working, babe.
That is not going to be okay for you. All right. And so the endocrinologist said, you're becoming insulin resistant because your weight keeps going up. When you become insulin resistant, you have more of a chance to become a diabetic.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. And so I had gotten on Ozempic some kind of way. I think I had went to a weight loss clinic. Same thing. Just totally threw up all the time. So stop doing that. And then I went and I visited my sister in Las Vegas. And she said, I'm on these skinny shots called Wegovy, which is Ozempic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that's the same stuff I was on. She's like, yeah, but I think you were doing it wrong.
Okay.
I was like, what do you mean I was doing it wrong? I keep having doctors prescribe this. She's like, I think you were doing it wrong.
But a lot of them are prescribing too high of a dose and too quick. And that's why so many articles are coming out about the side effects.
So what happened was me and my siblings got into a pact together to try this together.
Okay.
So we would have a support system. Most people do not have a support system. They're just out there willy-nilly.
Yeah.
They're getting on the internet and listening to people on the internet and all kinds of stuff. I decided to go to an actual weight loss physician because we do have those that don't specialize in bariatric surgery and all those other things. Okay. These are physicians to help monitor your hormones and also help monitor your weight loss.
Okay.
They put me on semaglutide, which is just a generic version. That's just the pharmaceutical name of Ozempic and Wegovy. Okay. Ozempic and Wegovy, semaglutide, all the same thing. Everybody keeps telling me they're different things. No, they're not.
They're the same.
They're exact same. And so I started off on a very small dose, even though I had already been on it at the weight loss clinic. My first month of being on it, I lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
30 pounds. In that first month, though, I started having aversions to stuff I ate every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was strange because I'm an avid coffee drinker. Like the life don't start until I get a cup of coffee.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, I'm standing like eyes still closed, teeth not brushed. I'm standing in front of the pot until it's done. I couldn't drink any coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
I could not drink it. And I wanted, like, mentally I wanted to, but, like,
physically,
yeah,
You're just like, no,
I
I'm good.
didn't want any coffee. I'm a huge cookie eater. I love sweets. I didn't eat any sweets. Like nothing, not even a piece of fruit. And so I started having aversions to things I would normally really want to eat.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and not to like totally like side rail, but just like a small detour on that. That's actually why they're looking into this now. They're doing a bunch of studies on Ozempic for addicts and helping people with other issues that have nothing to do with food, just because it does make you like not want the things that aren't great
Yeah,
for
I stopped
you.
drinking.
I think there was also a study I read, like even like your impulsive behaviors, like going to Target and being able to
That
like
stops.
spend, you
feel
stop
better. Yeah.
those habits of like, no, I don't need anything
Yeah.
at Target. I want to, but I know I don't need this. So it's like this internal thing that's happening.
It's like a click happens to where you start to look at life a little bit differently. Because when I started losing the weight, now granted, the first month, because I had lost 30 pounds, I couldn't tell I lost 30 pounds, but the scale said I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, that's crazy. That is just crazy. And I kept going and I kept, because I've lost about 30 pounds since we met. And so I kept losing, and I kept losing, and I kept losing. And it wasn't until last November when I saw pictures of myself, I realized how small I had gotten.
Oh, wow.
And nothing like really had changed, like lifestyle wise. You know, I did get a lot happier, and I was able to come off my daily antidepressant.
Yep.
And I thought I would never be able to come off my antidepressant because I had been on it since 2010.
Yep.
And normally antidepressants is a lifelong journey.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I was able to come off my antidepressant.
That is like,
yeah. I like was okay. And even now when I go to the doctor and I do my checks, she says, "How are you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm good. No depression. No, I'm all right. Other than like seasonal, it's gloomy outside kind of stuff. I'm good." So it changes a lot more in your life than just your weight. Yeah. So when people tell me how bad it is, I'm like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about."
But these are people who are not on it, they're just like the article, they're seeing the blurbs and they're clickbait kind of stuff. But I feel like there are doctors out there who do speak openly about this, warning people. But I think it's also like the education of more than anything of like, if you're going to be prescribed to this, like you need to make, I can't think of the doctor's name that I listened to the podcast that he's on, but he's like, he is very active with his patients to what are their workout regimens and things like that. So they maintain.
Because that's how my doctor is too. I have to check in every month, whether it be like a telehealth visit or I'm in the clinic. I do have labs drawn every 6 months so that they can make sure like my liver is okay, my kidneys are functioning, my heart is okay. And so I'm very proactive when it comes to my weight loss journey. The sad part about that, though, is the flip side, because there's so many people that just look to social media and think this is an easy fix and that it's so unhealthy and that it's new and that it's a Hollywood drug, but that's not really the case. If you sit back and you kind of look at a lot of the studies that have been done on this medication, the good far outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
It far outweighs the bad. The new study is it helps with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, they're doing so many things because they say that it helps with they're still doing studies to check through it all, but it's being said that it's probably going to help with fatty liver. Yep. It's helping with the mental health issues. It's helping with cholesterol. It actually is supposed to help get rid of some of your like bad cholesterol while it heightens your good cholesterol and helps with heart issues and blood pressure. And, obviously it started being prescribed for, the diabetes, but there's so many other things that these peptides can help with since they do have that regenerative property to them.
Well, then I got questions because I'm not on them, and it takes courage for you to like share that, because I think there's such a stigma of like, I'm not going to tell anybody. Like you said, you had the pack with your family. That's like, let's do this together. But also like that third time around, because it sounded like by the third time you're trying it with your sister, you stopped having the side effects, or did you have the side effects, but they weren't as aggressive as before? Like the throwing up where you're like, bro, nobody wants to throw up every week.
Nobody wants to throw up. So believe it or not, me and my sisters didn't tell our mother.
Of course not. Girl, no.
So it was just the three of us that knew. So the side effects, honestly, the worst side effect that I had on the third time around was fatigue. Literally, that was the worst one. It wasn't, you get nauseous every once in a while and you might throw up. And usually when I would throw up, it was like, okay, I ain't eating that no more.
Yeah.
Because it was usually something that didn't agree with me. Like there was one time I had some Italian sausage, super fatty, super greasy. And so my meds were like, girl, that's not on this journey, not right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, not going to eat that. But the fatigue is what got me. I was so incredibly fatigued because your body is trying to reteach itself how to do things. And so I would go to work and I would come home and get in the bed. And it was hard to like get up the stairs. It was hard to take a shower. It was just draining.
Yeah.
And so when I talked to my sisters about it, same exact thing. It was just this overwhelming fatigue. It did not last forever because you're getting used to this medication.
Yeah.
But it was real bad.
Yeah.
Like when you like, because I'm used to being on the go. It was like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And all I could do was like lay in the bed.
And you had to slow down.
Yep. Which in hindsight is probably good for your mental health.
Yeah. Because
you don't realize just how much stress you're putting your body under until you are physically forced to lay down.
Yeah.
And so when I was able to get some energy again, I felt amazing. I had felt like I had run like a marathon. I was just like, okay, this is cool. The only other side effect that was somewhat unpleasant was I got really constipated.
Yeah, they did say that sometimes it'll go one way or the other. Some people,
Yeah.
yeah,
You get really
constipation,
backed
some
up.
diarrhea.
And so I was fortunate enough to have a really good doctor that when she would do my checks, it was like, okay, what side effects are you having, if any? And I would tell her, and I was like, I am like so backed up. And she's like, okay, have you tried this? And have you tried? I was like, I have tried every laxative I could buy over the counter.
Oh, wow.
Literally every laxative I could buy over the counter. And my sister was having the same issue. So, but she wasn't under a weight loss doctor like I was. My doctor was like, I got a laxative I can prescribe for you. You'll go. Best feeling I ever had in my life. Absolutely, hands down.
You said, oh my God. How
Yeah, it
long
was
did that last though? How?
Maybe a month.
Okay. You're like,
it wasn't,
something's wrong.
Yeah. And it was to the point that I like called the clinic. I was like, hey,
Help.
It does have that effect on some people.
Yeah.
I know, like, one of my best friends, she's on it, and if we have plans for the weekend and she comes down to stay with me, she'll take the pill before she gets there.
Yep.
Because she's like, I just want to make sure that
You can go.
I can go before we have like our fun weekend together. And
Yep.
I'm like, what a thing that I'm planning when to wash my hair for the weekend,
Yeah.
and you're planning when to take this pill so that you can use the restroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of the constipation comes because you are not thinking about food, because you don't think about food at all. You think
Yeah.
about everything else but food. And you don't drink enough water
Okay.
because you're not thinking about food. You're just not. You're thinking about, what can I do this weekend? I need to go do something in the garden. You're not thinking about food at all. And even though I already didn't think a lot about food, I really didn't think about food.
Okay.
So there were days it was like, did I eat today?
Yeah.
I don't think I ate today. And my husband would be like, did you eat today? I don't think so.
Yeah. But how were you nourishing your body during that time?
I would force protein shakes down my throat, and I would buy Lunchables, and I would mark them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just to make sure I ate for the day.
Okay.
Because in a Lunchable, you have a little bit of protein, and I wouldn't eat the crackers. I would eat the meat and cheese, but that would be just enough to like stay alive and keep going.
Yeah.
So you have to mark how you're going to eat. I tell people it is a lot like gastric bypass without invasive surgery.
Okay.
Because when you have gastric bypass, what it does is they're shrinking your stomach physically to where you're not able to eat anything.
Yeah.
This medication changes your brain chemistry so that you don't think about eating anything, and you have to force something down your throat.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And you also I drank a lot because working in healthcare, healthcare is a beast, y'all. I drink a lot. I drank a lot of wine. I drank a lot of vodka. I would drink. I stopped drinking pretty much altogether.
Wow.
Yeah. No booze.
Yeah, I think when you do drink, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like I've heard when you drink and you're on it, you don't want to drink in the first place, but then you're risking that extra nausea and the stomach and all that.
Yep.
The urge is gone.
It's gone. I don't know if it's because of the stress or whatever. I'm not sure how it works. I had no desire to drink, none. And even now, I can have maybe 2 drinks, maybe if that, and I'm nursing them. And then I'm done.
Yeah.
But as far as to say, oh, let's go have a drink, I'm not doing
You're no, no longer. But when you think about alcohol in general, it only has negative side effects anyway. So even with your hormone, the point of this was the hormone imbalances, and alcohol negatively affects your hormones in general. So it's a win-win,
And it was. And at least from my experience, it has been nothing but positive. Now, granted, when people find out that I've been on it and they're so against it because they're not educated, like my best friend was against it. She's like, "Oh, it's not good for you," and I heard it does this and it's so bad for you. She got on it.
So it's making space for people to at least try it, and like you're that support, like you're the support to be like.
I want to educate people about it because it is not so much of a negative that people think that it is. And it changes a lot within your life because now I have far more energy to do things that I wasn't able to do when I was heavy.
Yeah.
Like even when I was heavy, it was hard for me to like go outside and walk the dogs and go do active things with my husband. I can do all of that now. I like that part about my life because what people don't realize is when you're unhappy with your body, that causes depression. It causes all kinds of other mental health issues. And once you take that away and you can look in the mirror and be like, oh, okay, I like what I see and not hate what you see and you're okay with it, it changes things. Now, granted, because I was heavy for maybe 6 years, I still see myself that way. Yeah, it's not until I like have pictures of myself and I'm like, oh, is that me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's also interesting to hear, like, you don't hear a lot of people talk about negative relationships with food as food being a number to what we're dealing with. Like, if you have a bad day or like, you know how if you're working from home or something and you're like, the fridge just keeps calling your name. Just a snack and a snack and a snack. Like, I have this thing where I don't keep snacks at my house, and I'm openly honest with people because I'm like, I don't have the willpower. If I buy Oreos, I'll eat all of them.
Yeah.
It's like they're calling my name, yelling, screaming, but I know this habit, so I don't keep it.
Yeah.
I'll go to other people's house like, you guys have snacks. But it's like this, now I can control myself because it's like this controlled moment I'm in, but it's this unhealthy eating. There is a huge, in the American society, there's a huge culture of that. The healthcare field, my mom is in the healthcare field, and there's a huge like habit of unhealthy eating because of the long hours. You're getting like fast food. So can you kind of share, like, I know you had to get regimented in like, what am I eating, making sure I'm nourishing my body at least in some capacity, but like you talked a lot about that mind, like it's changing your brain chemistry. So how can you encourage someone who is like, no, I don't want to do this, that it's like not negative, and the price of this? Because that's something else I see. Like, how is this affordable for all the different demographics and like people who, you know, there's cultures. The Black community is a community that is substantially overweight, diabetes, but do we have access to this kind of stuff?
So I budgeted out for this medication. So every month for me, it was $500. And that's including doctor's visits and labs and all the things, and the script itself. I also looked at it like this. How much a month do I spend on fast food and food in general? It was way more than this $500 a month.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because if you take in Starbucks runs, Chick-fil-A runs, like all the snacks you buy at the grocery store, like all of those things, that's way more than $500 a month. And so I budgeted out for that because I really wanted to change what my lifestyle was. Now, Eli Lilly, the makers of Zepbound and Novo Nordisk, they have reduced the cost of these drugs.
Okay.
And then you can also find them compounded. But because they've reduced the price of the drugs, the compounding might go away. But it also might get cheaper. And so we're at a point to where it's been 4 or 5 years to where the price is going to start coming down.
Okay.
It's kind of like when Adipex first hit the market, which also is not good for you, by the way. It's just a stimulant. But when Adipex hit the market, which is it's Fin too, it was really expensive, and everybody was like rushing to get it, and insurance wouldn't cover it. And so now it's $5,
Oh, okay.
and insurance covers it. So the price will come down. You know, it's supply and demand.
And as they determine more uses, do you see that playing an effect in the price as well?
Absolutely, because then they're going to start prescribing it for, like, it helps with short-term memory loss. I read that. It helps with Alzheimer's. It helps with heart disease, which most people didn't realize.
I know for me, like, almost everyone I know is on it. I never really had looked into it until you and I had talked about it. And I had always been like, nah, not
same.
for me. Just I've been that way with everything. Any type of like pill or appetite suppressant or anything like that, it just always makes my heart race. I don't like how I feel. And so I've always just shied away from the different things that are seen as like some new like weight loss fad drug, right? But the more I looked into it, like it almost has me like, okay, well, I don't know. Let me think about that, because I do struggle with high cholesterol. Mm-hmm. I don't eat super terribly. I am not unactive. And I still, it's never mattered, and being monitored over the last couple years by doctors with it. I mean, it's never changed. It's always high, and I don't want to be on the stimulant medication. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy then when I'm looking into this and I'm hearing different doctors saying like, oh yeah, but it lowers your bad cholesterol. It can help you increase your good cholesterol. So even though for me, like, I don't necessarily think I need to lose 90 pounds or anything, but yeah, this could be a game changer for me, not having to get on a stimulant for my cholesterol when nothing I'm doing lifestyle-wise has made that change for me yet.
My cholesterol was high too. And my primary was like, oh, I need to put you on a statin. Oh, I need to put you on a statin.
Oh, I need statin. Yeah, that's
and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No.
I know way too much about like drugs to get on a statin. Nope. I'm not doing that. I need to lose some weight. I just got my labs back last week. My LDL was maybe half a point elevated.
Wow.
Literally half a point. And she called and she was like, your labs are good. Your LDL is just a little bit elevated. She just wants you to exercise more. Got it.
Done and done.
Yeah. And then you had mentioned too about how, you struggled with the fatigue at first, but after some time and your body adjusted, that went away and you had the energy to work out and you had the energy to do things.
Yeah.
I think that alone is such a game changer for so many people who, struggle with just being too busy or this, that, whatever. They get home from work and they're like, yeah, I cannot work out right now. I can't do it. Like, that is such a game changer to say like, oh, but now I can. Like, I'm going to go work out really quick. Let's go on a walk with my family.
And the thing is, when you're heavier, you're not thinking like all your organs and everything is just weighed
so
down.
So much pressure for that.
And so you don't have the energy to do anything because all your energy is going towards literally just walking around and getting through life.
Just living.
And so when you start to lose that weight and like that fat is gone and you're able to move and like enjoy yourself again, that alone helps with your mental stability because your body is like, oh, okay. Oh, well, our liver, we got a little bit of room in there.
Yeah.
Well, when you start moving around more and then you're getting the endorphins and everything else starts kind of playing that effect with it, like it starts becoming not just the peptide that got you there, but you're now able to
entire internal system, your cardiovascular system is naturally working how it should be and not like, we are trying, girl.
What is going on? Yeah. So it's there. The benefits far outweigh the side effects that you get. And like I tell everybody, because I've heard so often, oh, I heard that it makes you real sick. Oh, I heard it does this. Oh, I heard that you pick up all the weight once you stop it. First and foremost, You can honestly be on this drug for the rest of your life on a maintenance dose and it not have an effect on you.
A lot of people actually refer to this as a lifetime drug.
Yep.
And, the doctors are still kind of in that debate. Some refer to it that way. Some people don't. But that is, part of the conversation too, because on that opposing side of people saying just like, but I don't want to be on something that I'm going to be on for the rest of my life.
So here's my rebuttal. Were you on high blood pressure medicine?
Yeah.
Were you on a statin? Were you on diabetic medication?
Yep.
Those are lifetime drugs too.
Yeah.
And antidepressants are lifetime drugs too. I never thought I would be able to get off of my antidepressant. Like, honestly, I never did. And when I was able to come off of that and my blood pressure medication, I was like, okay, so something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
And you pick and choose your hard.
Yeah.
You really do. You pick and choose your hard.
And you've seen your hard because it's been where you've been at.
And I didn't want to go backwards. I'm trying to move forward in my life. And I already know that being on high blood pressure medication, being on cholesterol medication, being on diabetic medication, that is going to shave years off of your life versus being on this one drug.
So I have another question because I feel like people will ask, like, you see Hollywood is dictating how we're looking at this drug, if we're being completely honest, and you have everyone who's like, we know they're on Ozempic, they got super duper skinny real quick, and they're like, no, girl, I've been working out. But what about, like, you shared, you've almost lost, I think, 90 pounds altogether on the drug, but when does it become, and were these conversations you had with your doctor about, like, I don't want to keep losing weight, like, what's too skinny?
Yeah.
And even, like, the body image of, like, you had to look at pictures of yourself to know, like, oh man, I have lost the weight. And even, like, losing weight that fast can sometimes leave your skin stretched or, like, what did you do there?
So because I was on, like, this super healthy journey, because my sister asked me that too. She said, do you have loose skin? Nope. I said,
Really? Okay.
yeah, I don't have, like, I said, because I had worked out and I had always,
training.
I had always worked out prior to being on this drug. I didn't have that. So it is all in what you're doing while you're on it or before you're on it. Because I met a lady, I'm in a women's group. She had lost over 110 pounds just on this drug. She was like 400 some pounds. Mm-hmm. She has all the loose skin and all of that, like gastric bypass surgery. Yeah. I don't have any of that. I literally have lost a small child.
Well, and some doctors actually require you to do strength training and stuff while you are on the medication to help. Because
you do lose muscle mass.
Yeah, not losing your muscle mass.
But also women, as we age, we should be strength training for our muscle mass and all of that. And I don't think that's actually a conversation anybody's having about, like, as we age. I know it's cardio to keep the weight off, but it's really strength training that is most efficient and best for our bodies.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because everybody is like, oh, what do you do at the gym? I'm like, I pick up heavy things. And they're like, do you really pick up heavy? I pick up heavy things. I live with somebody who is an avid CrossFitter. And so, he'll come over and he'll drop my weight on a machine too. He's like, oh, you could pick up more than that. I'm like, jerk.
So if you're someone, so like for me, due to some of the things I went through in the past, my spine is not correct.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I cannot lift weights or do anything that is, like, above my shoulder. So is there still, in your opinion, is there still plenty of things that can do to keep you from losing any of that?
Absolutely. That's what resistance bands are for. Yeah. That's what the Smith machine is for. You don't have to, like, pick up super heavy things to build strength. Yeah. Like, even if you get, like, the rubber strength bands, that is enough to build muscle. Yeah. People don't realize that. You don't have to use free weights.
Well, that's why I want to mention it, because it's like a lot of times you hear the word strength training and you're just like in your head immediately, like a bench press. Yeah. When in the reality, it doesn't have to necessarily be anything that's like crazy heavyweight. It can
Yeah,
just
you're not a
be-
woman who's like over here with broad
No.
shoulders, like
You're like
hey.
flipping tractor tires.
Right.
Oftentimes I do use the resistance bands and I use the TRX machines and stuff only because, for one, all the meatheads use all the free weights. And I also use the circuit trainer because it's better on your joints, it's better for your body. Most people don't tell you that. It is. It's a lot better for you to use a circuit. That's why those machines were built. Now, granted, I'm not going super hard at the gym because I'm literally at the point to where I'm retraining my body, because before I got on this medication, I was picking up super heavy stuff. I was squatting all the time. I was doing a lot of things to like try to get the weight off. And once I started on this drug and on this weight loss journey, and I told you I had like real bad fatigue, girl,
You can't do any of that. Yeah.
and so now that I'm like back in the gym, I'm starting real slow, like super slow. And even now, when I get on the Stairmaster, I don't do more than five sets because I'm not trying to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my strength back up to where I'm not losing muscle mass.
Yeah.
But the trick is to always keep moving while you're on the drug. Whether it be walking, whether it be using like a resistance band, like doing some kickbacks or some squats in the bathroom, you just got to keep moving so that, you don't lose it. And it's sad because I've seen a lot of people who just don't move and they don't use this drug correctly. They'll use it and think it's a magic pill, and then they'll promptly jump off of it. And then they'll gain all the weight back, and then they have to start the process all over again. This is too costly to do that.
Yeah.
And you're playing with your life. When you yo-yo your weight up and down, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. So I go through the guide of a weight loss physician who can say that these are the next steps we're going to take. And so as I'm coming towards the end of my journey, because this month it'll be 2 years exactly, I'm tapering off, but I'm going to stay on a maintenance dose, which means I don't do it every week. I do it every couple of weeks, and the dose is real small so that I can either jump off when I want to, or I can just stay on it indefinitely.
And do you maintain your still monthly check-ins with your
I do.
physician?
I do. Because that way, if something peaks or something changes or your weight fluctuates, they can do a little bit more digging.
Yeah.
Because, we're human. Things happen. Like you might end up with some kind of weird disease and you might gain weight and not know why. So I stay on top of that because when I started gaining weight, I had no clue why I was gaining weight.
Yeah,
Like
you usually
none.
don't until
It's
your
almost
clothes
too
aren't
late.
fitting
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. So how would you recommend, like, if you're looking for a physician, if you have looked into this and you're like, maybe this is something I need to look into, how would someone go about finding the right doctor to take them through this type of journey
And trust
safely
them.
and trust them? Yeah.
First of all, do not buy your medication off of a website. I have
Ew.
seen that
Oh.
so much.
And they had also said there's so many now that are like
Counterfeit.
already, well, just pre-set up. So like the dose is so high in those and it's just a button. So you can't control, like you can't stop it and just do like a little bit of it.
So I've guided a couple of people through this who knew I was on it. Like this is the first time I've ever like come out publicly and say, hey, this is what I'm doing to lose weight. So there's been a few people that have like guided them through this. And of course they all say, well, I'm just going to get off the internet. Do not get it off the internet. For the love of God, do not get it off the internet. Because there's online weight loss clinics and there's all kinds of ways you can absolutely obtain this medication.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's the right way. When I went about this, I went to a physician who specialized, and there are doctors who specialize in weight loss and weight control.
Okay.
I went to a board certified physician who specialized in weight loss and weight control. And you'll know who they are because they have access to a whole bunch of different weight loss drugs that you've never even heard of.
Is this, do people's insurance cover this
It can.
type of physician?
It can. So the clinic that I go to, oftentimes they get so many rejection letters because America is not the land of the healthy.
Yeah.
Insurance gets a lot of money from us being unhealthy. And so when I was doing some research, my insurance is amazing and it covers pretty much every drug that's out there except for this one.
Really? Okay.
They even cover bariatric surgery, 100%.
Wow.
But not this.
But not this, because you know why? Bariatric surgery only has a 23% rate
of success.
of being successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. So get educated. Like
you have
first,
to educate yourself.
You're wanting to educate people, but also this entire time, like as you're talking, I hear be intentional, like setting your plan. Okay.
Yeah. So your insurance can cover it. In fact, they're in a lot of negotiations so that it can be covered. That's why the pharmaceutical companies have dropped the price so much so that people have access to it. And I think Zepbound or Mounjaro, it's the same drug. You can actually go to Eli Lilly's website and get it through the pharmaceutical company now because insurance has denied it so much.
Oh, wow.
They've denied it so much. So when people say it's easy to get, not really. It isn't because we live in a land to where we don't want us to be healthy. That takes money out of the medical field.
Medical field, food industry,
all of it, yeah. It
fast
takes
food industry, yeah.
Yeah, it takes money out of those pockets. So you do want to do a lot of research, but find a board certified weight loss physician, and you'll know who they are because they'll talk to you a lot different. They'll tell you this is the plan you need to be on. They'll give you a bariatric diet, literally to start. So you'll see. You have to like beef up your protein. There's certain vegetables you can't eat because it'll make your stomach hurt. I love sweet potatoes. They didn't love me back that first year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so you really have to do some digging and educate yourself on what this drug can do, how it can save your life, and don't just do it because everybody else is doing it.
Or for the weight, just the weight loss, the physical look of it.
Because that's not what it's for. It is to help you get healthy. And it's an aid. When people think, oh, it's just, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to be skinny. It's an aid. It absolutely is. I didn't think I was going to be as irritable when I couldn't have coffee. But when you start to I looked at the things that I was eating when I wasn't able to have them. I didn't realize how much sugar was in my coffee every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like between the cream and the sugar and the flavoring and the syrups, that's a whole day's meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put honey in my coffee now.
But literally, that's a whole day's meal. If you sit down and you start breaking those things down and you start really like looking at what you're putting in your body, especially when you don't want it anymore, you're like, man, I was eating enough for like 6 dudes.
It's like, man, we good over here.
Yeah, we live in the state of Texas, and so portion control is not our biggest strong suit.
Not at all.
If you ever looked at a piece of fried chicken or chicken fried steak, it's 2 chicken breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not 1. It's 2.
Yeah.
And we're sitting up here thinking it's 1. And so I've gotten to the point to where, because I don't think about food. So when I am hungry, like everybody's like, oh, are you hungry? I'm like, I do get hungry.
Yeah.
I do eat food.
I do
sometimes.
eat food. I just don't eat nearly as much as anybody else.
Yeah.
And then I gotten into the habit to where I cut things in half. And people look at you strange, like, why you can eat all that. I can't.
Well, and the issue is that you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, right? Because in America, we have like the highest obesity rate. Like we have all these issues and health issues that,
But we have the
our
Clean Your Plate Club too.
I know, but we have, but that's where I was saying, like with that. And then on the other side of that, if you go to a restaurant, the plate that's going to be put in front of you is almost always going to be 2 to 3 actual portion sizes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we were also raised in that headspace of like,
You finish what's on
happy
your
plate,
Yeah.
clean your plate.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that's really
There's
hard to
starving
battle.
children in China,
Yeah.
and I never understood that expression. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What that got to do with us here?
But you eat to nourish your body. Like,
Yeah.
you eat for fuel for your body. And it's not until like you have a different relationship with food that you're like, when you're hungry, you eat.
Mhm.
And when you're not hungry anymore, stop. Like,
Yeah.
if there's food still there, fine.
Yeah.
Save it, put it up later or whatever it is. But you don't have to eat the whole thing.
Yeah. You eat to live, not vice versa. You don't live to eat.
Yeah.
And that's the thing people don't realize. You eat to live. Granted, food is very enjoyable. We make some delicious things, but you don't have to like overindulge in things, which is what we do. We overindulge in things because it is so good. And eating gives you happy endorphins too. And so that's a bad thing because it's like a drug. A lot of people are just, I just want to eat. I just want to eat. I want to eat. Makes me happy.
No, that's me. I eat all the time. I tell everyone I'm an emotional eater. Any emotion I feel like I need to eat with it.
Eat, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy, I want to eat. I'm sad, I want to eat. I'm angry, I want to eat. Like I just always want to eat.
Yeah, and I wasn't an emotional eater. In fact, I was the opposite. But because I had like that hormone issue and I was on all this medication, I looked up one day and I'm like, oh, I am big. Like I am a big person now. I don't eat anything. Why am I big? And stress plays a big factor in that too, which most people don't realize. Stress will put weight on your body. And so I couldn't understand what is going on with me. And now I do. It's like, okay, don't get stressed out about that. On to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not eating too. I mean, we're just constantly playing with our metabolism.
Yep. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go into my 50s being heavy because I knew once I hit 50, I'm like, whew, this is going to be real hard. This is going to be super hard. I don't have no hormones either. Nope, not doing that. So I do. I want to educate people. And I want to take the shame and the stigmatism away from it because it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the real scheme of it, there's so many things. I mean, the food you're eating is bad. There's so many other things that are bad. It's like, but if this is helping me feel better, is it really that bad for me? If it's helping me control what I'm eating, if it's helping me cut out some of these other items that are really bad for me too, like what's the lesser evil?
Yeah. So, my husband, when I met him, he didn't buy any snacks either. And when I had 2 kids, and so of course when we started sharing a household, I had snacks all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
And so now he's snack cake snacker. He gets annoyed if he's like, "Hey, no snacks in here." And no, I didn't buy any snacks because I don't eat them like that, and I never have. He loves snacks though. And the other day, he went to the grocery store and I said, "Why'd you buy all these cookies?" He's like, "I like cookies." And I said, "Are you mindlessly eating?" He goes, "No, I'm not mindlessly doing it. I know I'm doing it."
I'm choosing this.
Yeah, he's like, I know what's happening. And most people do.
I know what's happening, but that urge inside of me that's like, just eat one more chocolate chip cookie though.
And so I have tried to do this. Believe it or not, if you bake cookies, you eat less of them. If you bake brownies, you eat less of them. Yep. But if we live in a world which is so convenient, you can just go buy a whole bunch of cookies. You could buy chips. You could buy, like, everything is instant. But if you actually have to work for it, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and the cookies you make are probably better for you too than the cookies you'd go buy already ready in a store.
You can read the ingredients in the stuff that you've made.
Yeah, like you're in control of what's going into it
and
too.
You can actually portion size it too. You don't have to make giant chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make teaspoon size cookies. You can make like little chippy cookies that are not full of 5 million calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it does. It helps you understand your relationship with food. Oprah Winfrey, she just had a whole series on Ozempic and semaglutide medications. And she was even shamed to say she was on them.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be. There should not be any shame in taking control of your weight in your life, especially we as women, because I plan on outliving my husband. I don't know about anybody else. I plan on outliving mine. So you shouldn't be ashamed in taking that control over your body and over your mental health and your physical health. There's no shame in getting any help. Just like getting mental health, there shouldn't be any shame in what we do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted us to talk about this, because when you said, oh, I know a whole bunch of people on that. And I'm like, I do too, but nobody wants to say that they're
Nobody
on it.
at all.
Yeah.
Like I told one of my friends, like a lot of people are on it. They're just not openly sharing it, because she'll be like, this girl lost so much weight. Oh my God, what'd she do? I wonder what she did. Or there was, what is it? The Ozempic face.
Yeah, that was Ozempic face.
Yeah.
And she was like, what is that? What does it look like? And I'm like, people aren't just not sharing it because there's a lot of shame. But as we said before, shame, once you expose like what's going on, shame is like, dang, I can't live here anymore.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And that's pretty much what I do. Because when people, like when I showed you pictures of me heavy, you were like, that's not you. And I was like, girl, yes, that was me last year. And you were like, I'm drugs.
Proud. Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I have no qualms about telling people. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I can absolutely believe I did it. And I'm happier and healthier for it. Yeah. And I tell everybody, get you some drugs, get you some. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that being overweight or obese, it just has so many effects in your life that, like, if you don't do something about it,
and
are you really going to get your
money
life?
You spend on the food that you're eating that make you like that, and the medications that you take to combat that is the same amount of money you could be using to get on these medications. Nobody thinks of it like that.
Yeah.
I did, because I was like, okay, this is $5,000. $500. That's a lot of money every month. That's a car payment. That's a lot of things. And so I started looking, how much do I pay for my nails? How much do I pay for my hair to get done? How much do I pay for my lashes and my brows? How much do I pay for at the gym? How much do I pay for to go out to eat? How much is this coffee run every other day? Far more than what this medication was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far more.
The amount I spend on coffee would probably, like coffee and just like grabbing snacks.
Yeah.
That's your snack money. That's your snack money. Yeah. Most people don't realize it's your snack money. But the bad part about it is once the weight starts coming off, your wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
That was my pitfall, because you don't plan for that. So I'm in a size 4 right now. Okay. I went from a 16 to a 4.
Wow.
And I had to buy clothes because I go to work every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, it took years for me to build that wardrobe. I have given away 13 bags of clothes so far.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not done. I need to clean out my closet again.
And that's in that 6-year time frame?
This has only been 2 years. Yeah. In 2 years.
I'm saying the 6-year time frame of all that weight, like you accumulated all of that.
Yep.
And now it's like less.
Yeah.
And
less. So
less.
now it's like, I had clothes that still had tags on them that I didn't get to wear. And then my shoes fit differently.
Yeah.
Because you lose weight everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the thing people don't tell you. You literally lose weight everywhere. My shoes got too big. My feet already weren't huge, but like my shoes got a little bit too big. My wedding ring is entirely too big now. Like, I almost lost it in the car. I've been taking tape, wrapping it so I don't lose my wedding ring. Yeah. It's weird because you have to start over. And in that starting over, you start to realize, okay, am I staying here or am I going backwards? And when I started cleaning out my closet, so I went from like a 16 to a 12 to a 10 to an 8 real rapidly. And once I was in those 8s, I was like, yeah, I ain't going back.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
So let it go.
Yeah, I took all of those clothes. I didn't care how much they cost. And I put them all in a bag and I was like, I will refuse to go back. I don't have now one pair of big girl clothes in there.
Well, I mean, the thing is too, even when you do yo-yo, that's what I've noticed, because I try to hold on to clothes or try to whatever. It doesn't matter because your body never loses and gains in the same way either. So it's almost that empower moment of just like, yeah, I don't need those. Like, get them out of my face. I don't want to see them. That's not who I am anymore.
And that's what I did. And like my closet's so small. My husband has taken up most of it now.
Wow.
That's Tong's dream.
Jeremy was like, oh, this is like back when I was single. I was like,
no, I'm coming back. Don't you worry.
Don't worry about it.
Don't you worry. We'll fill it up.
I'm rebuilding.
I was like, let me get off this medication and get my money back. Just wait. But it's life-changing to kind of see you dwindle down, because I didn't realize I was in a size 4 till I had to buy a dress this November. And I'm trying dresses on. I'm like, oh, I can fit an 8. No, you can't.
Yeah. Let me get a smaller one. A smaller one. Yeah.
And then I pulled out a 6 and I'm like, this kind of baggy and long. My girlfriend was like, you need a 4. I was like, no, this 6 will do, because you're apprehensive. I'm like, no, I'm not a 4. And then I went to buy jeans, and it was like, get them 27s. And I was like, I can't fit those, because I hadn't fit. And I said, what's a size 27? Oh, it's a 2-4. No, it isn't. She's like, yeah, it's a 2-4. I'm like, no, it's not. She goes, it's a 2-4. I put those on. I was like, they're kind of big. I was like, okay, this is pause on me, because if I get to be any smaller, I'm going to look unhealthy at this point.
Yeah.
But what a mind shift. Like, I know for me, I hate going shopping. I don't want to go shop. There is something about having to grab the clothes and like look at the sizings and put things on. Like, I have a lot of things mentally that I struggle with when it comes to my body and all of that. So I hate shopping because of it. I don't want to go. I don't want to see it. But what a mind shift that must be to say, oh, I can grab the 27s. I do need to grab the 4.
It was because I had stopped going. I'm a Californian. I grew up as a mall rat in the 90s. Like I was that kid. And so when I got bigger, I stopped buying clothes off the rack, and everything was online.
Yep,
online,
I do
online.
basically everything.
And if
online.
it didn't fit, I just took it and threw it in the closet. And so now, because I had this event and I needed a dress and I had no idea what size I was, I had to go try it on. Mm-hmm. And my girlfriend that was with me, she's like, you know, you're tiny, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not tiny.
Yeah, it's a whole body, like looking at yourself now and not the weight you used to be and the judgment you used to have with your version of yourself. Like, losing weight is still, people think you get to this new weight and you're like, yay, I'm skinny. And it's like, no, it's like loving yourself at this size and weight and everything. And also letting go of the size and weight you were before. And like, I don't have to carry this baggage, and I can't enjoy like going to the mall and trying on the jeans and, you know, having those experiences.
You put that mental stuff down.
Yeah.
And you have to leave it at the door. And part of you wants to go back and get it, but you can't.
Because even with women buying clothes, when we're heavier, you don't realize you're buying clothes to like cover up. And versus like now when you're buying clothes, you're like, I like that. Like, that's my shape. Like, so it's really this interesting relationship in like how you take pictures, how you like yourself when you take pictures, all of that.
It's a confidence booster because my husband said, where do you want to go for our wedding anniversaries this year? I said, somewhere where I can be naked.
Love it.
I'm taking all the clothes off this year. We're not wearing cover-ups. We're wearing 2 pieces all day, every day.
I love that. Love it, girl. Do it.
So yeah, it's a huge transition to where I used to be and where I am now. And I'm a huge advocate for loving yourself and body positivity. But even with that body positivity, you have to be okay with whatever size you are. And if you're not okay with that size, you have the tools to do something about it. You do. I hate when people say, oh, well, you're just built heavier. Nobody's built heavier, or you're just big boned. Last time I checked, everybody's bones look the same.
Yeah. Get to the skeleton. Okay. All of that is weight.
Yep. Nobody's bones look any different than anybody else's. It is weight. It is body chemistry and structure. You have the power to change that. You don't have to be heavy. You don't those are not have tos for anyone. You have the tools to change them, whether it be a glandular problem, whether it be through disease, whether it be through medication. You can change those things.
Yeah, I think it's just finding the right doctors, the right people to help guide you through that journey.
And helping to educate the masses.
Yeah.
Because don't listen to what's on social media. Don't do that. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen. Do some education. Read. Research.
Do your due diligence.
You know, it is not that hard to get the knowledge that you need. Because it wasn't that hard for me. It really wasn't. It was like, okay, these drugs have been out for a while. Most people can't afford them, or they don't know that they're out there. Because this is in pill form. It's in 4 different pill forms. People don't know that.
Yeah.
Rybelsus. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Rybelsus is this. Form. Yeah, it's, yeah.
Because I think I thought it was a shot.
It is a shot, but you can get it in pill form. Most people don't know that. Yeah, you can get it in pill form. Rybelsus is semaglutide. Yeah. So you have to read and understand and ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, how are you going to know? Yeah. You have to ask the right people.
Yeah. Well, and being able to have conversations, not just with your doctor and stuff, but with other people too, and hear people's like real life experiences. Because I can think of 5 women on the top of my head right now that's on this, and every single one of y'all's experiences is pretty different, which again comes down to the dosing and all of that as well. But it's having those conversations and, you know, getting the chance to learn more and educate yourself more before just.
And you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to go on this journey alone. You can talk to people. I guarantee you probably know like 6 people right now that are on it, and they just haven't said anything about it. You don't have to do it alone. It is not something you need to be ashamed of. In fact, you probably would have better results if you had a support system.
Yeah.
Because in my little support system, we would call each other and talk to each other like, hey, do you have this happening? Oh, yeah, that's happening to me right now. Or, hey, how do you feel on this dosage? Oh, I feel like this. You talk through it so you can get through it together. And now that we're on the other side, it's been an amazing journey. And I'm not ashamed of it at all.
Do you think that played part of the effect in it not like working out the first couple times you tried it? Like having that support the third time helped?
Absolutely. Because it was just me by myself. I didn't know. I had no idea the side effects were going to be that bad.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was going to be, feel the way that I felt. I was like, this is not for me. I'm not doing this.
Well, and for me, that's a lot of why I never looked into it too, because everyone's first thing is like, oh, you're so nauseous. You throw up all the time. And like, I'm already nauseous 70% of my life. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
add anything that's going to make it worse.
If I can give any woman that's on it any advice, if you've ever had children and you went through like that whole first trimester of being pregnant, those are the symptoms you'll have.
Dang. I've never been pregnant,
Yeah.
but I don't want that.
Yeah.
How do we avoid that?
Yeah. I mean, you might not get them though. That's just it. Everybody's different. Mine were exactly like it was when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it depends too on, again, that dosage and the journey that you're on, because I listened to a lot of different doctors who spoke about this, but a lot of them were on the like homeopathic side for the most part. And so their thing is more of like a very small dose, like not even at your typical starting dosage, just doing a tiny micro dose of this
To get you going.
Yeah, just to help throughout however long. And that's where they're seeing so many benefits. And that's where they're seeing all these other things that it's affecting and helping with, while not having such extreme nausea, not having throwing up, not having any of that. And I know Dr. Tina was one of the ones I was listening to, and she was saying most of her people don't even like have those symptoms at all because it's such a small dose.
Yeah, and that's when I finally started the right way. They lowered the dose, and she said, "This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to lower the dose. We're going to go through this journey together. We're going to talk about whatever side effects that you're going to have, and then once you're past that, then we can possibly move up the dose." And so depending on how much I would lose within the month is if my dose went up.
Okay.
You know, and how I felt. If I didn't feel right on that dose, she's like, "Okay, we'll do it another month, or we'll move up this month." So it's a gradual process. It's not like you get a pen and you just stab yourself, you know, for 30 days and you lose 60 pounds.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. It's a very slow process. And it being a slow process, it changes your whole life.
Gives you time to build the right habits and put the right things in place.
And so I never tell anybody, you know, don't jump up to the highest dose. Don't jump up to the highest max. You're not going to get any benefits from that.
Yeah.
You're just not.
A whole lot of side effects.
Yeah. And a lot of times people do. They're just like, give it all to me. I'm just going to lose it all now. No, you're not. You're going to be miserable for a minute.
Well, and you're really doing yourself a disservice because you are playing with your metabolism at that point and putting it in even worse shock to where, when you get off that super high dose that you just threw yourself on, you're, sitting
you
there.
can't sustain it.
Yeah.
And you do plateau, and that's discouraging. I've plateaued a couple of times. And once you plateau, you have to realize, what do I need to do to change this? The whole key to losing weight is a caloric deficit. And so when I started like looking at how few calories I was eating and I was at a plateau, I was like, I can't eat less than 800 calories a day. Like, that's just not healthy.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do to get out of that? Okay, I need to up the protein quite a bit. I need to up the protein and I need to walk a lot more than what I'm walking. And then that kind of got me out of that cycle of being in a plateau. And nobody, like, there's people who will plateau and then jump off and then gain a whole bunch of weight right back.
Yeah. Or just do like a huge increased jump at that plateau as well.
And that's not good for you either.
No, never.
Okay. Well, I think that's our time. Do you guys have any more questions?
I mean, I want to obviously say, like, as a woman, we obviously deal with society pressures and all of that, and our body image and our weight. All of that plays such an effect. And obviously, we never want to tell someone, like, oh, you should do this. This is like going to fix all your problems. But just encourage women to really take that time to sit with yourself and do the research and figure out what you can do, what tools you can put in your life to help.
Yeah. And this medication is not for everybody. There's a lot of people who cannot be on it, but there's other resources and tools out there that you can utilize. And so you have to take that into effect. You don't ever want to just jump on any bandwagon or anything you see on social media just because you can. educate yourself and understand what your body needs versus what your body does not need.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, I don't have anything to add.
All right, that's our episode, guys. Remember, you can always follow us on Hella, HELLA friends.com, and we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You can reach out to us on the website with any questions regarding this episode. And remember, always, life be life.
Sometimes.